I'd like to call the September 11th Symmes Township BZA meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, so please stand. But before we start, since it's September 11th, I would like to take this time to honor the people that have died and given their all for our country. So, if you don't mind, take a few seconds. Thank you. Okay. Next item would be the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Ms. Harlow.
Here.
Mr. Horvath. Mr. Trick.
Here.
Mr. Wolf.
Here.
Mr. Deutsch.
Here.
Mr. Jameson. Ms. Bucco.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Those going to give testimony to this board, please stand and raise your right hand. The testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Sit down. Okay. Next item, hearing of appeals, BZA 2023-04. Angela Apking, if I'm pronouncing it. Apking, thank you. 11-814 Spiral Pass. Review for the variance to construct an in-ground pool in the side yard.
Good evening, Brian Snyder, Hamilton County Planning and Development, Development Services Administrator. You should have a copy of the report that we prepared for this variance request. As you stated, it's on Spiral Pass. This is a request for a pool located in the side yard of the home. The lot is a panhandle lot. It sits behind homes on Spiral Pass. It's kind of a triangular shaped lot once you get back to the end of the panhandle behind the homes, fronting on Spiral Pass. So it is an irregular shaped property. The front yard facing towards the panhandle. This home was constructed with a very shallow rear yard to the south of the south side of the lot, and a large side yard to the west side of the lot. The applicant is proposing to construct an 18-foot by 42-foot in-ground swimming pool in the side yard area to the west of the home. You all should have a copy of the site plan showing the location of the pool. Swimming pools in the zoning resolution are required to be located in the rear yard only, and 10 feet from all property lines measured to the edge of the water. This proposed location is in the side yard, except for a small portion that actually crosses into the rear yard. But the majority of the pool would be in the side yard area where it's not permitted. The edge of the water would be more than 10 feet away from all the property lines. And the fence that they're proposing to surround the pool, that's required to be around the pool, would be 4 feet high, would meet the 62% opacity, so that doesn't need a variance. So no setback variances, no fencing variances, just the location in the side yard. Staff report does go into the surrounding uses. There are houses all around this. There is mature vegetation separating the rear yards of the homes on Spiral Pass from this location. There's also mature vegetation on the southern property line, separating this property from the homes to the south. There is enough room technically in the rear yard for them to fit the pool. If they were to rotate it and push it all the way to within 10 feet of the property line, they would have a couple of feet before they would get into the side yard. However, to do that would require them to take down all the trees along the property line likely. So it would actually have more of an impact on the properties to the south. The location they're proposing it is actually in a grassy area that doesn't require them to remove any of the vegetation behind the homes on Spiral Pass. So likely would be more screened in the location in the side yard than it would be if they pushed it into the rear yard. And then also in the rear yard area, it would be very close to the existing single-family house due to the unusual nature of the shape of the lot. This is a area variance and not a use variance, and the standard for area variances are on page 2 and 3 of the staff report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ron?
You stated in the staff report that there were other pool variances in the area.
Well, there are
I
other-
see 2 in the pictures.
Right, there are other pools in the area. They didn't need variances because they're in the rear yard. I believe there have been no similar pool variances in this area, but there are pools in the rear yards of the surrounding properties. So a pool in this location wouldn't be out of character. There's another pool between them and the closest house. I mean, there would be another pool between this pool and the 2 closest houses, actually.
Right.
Barbara, based on the size of the house, would there be an opportunity to put a pool in a different part of the backyard or side yard, which would be less, smaller in size and wouldn't impact as many trees?
Yes, I mean, they could put a smaller pool in the rear yard. Yes, they could reduce the size of the pool so they wouldn't have to remove the trees along the southern property line. That is an option. That would meet the zoning code.
Do you know how much larger this side of the pool would be? Any idea? That wouldn't need a
I
variance?
don't know exactly how close the trees are to the property line. I know that from the pictures that the applicant submitted, and they could probably speak to this better, there is a fence there and there are trees on their side of the fence. I assume that those are their trees, but I don't know how far away they are. They're fairly mature. Digging in for the pool might hurt the drip line of those trees. They might not survive anyway, even if they didn't have to take them down right away. But the closer you get to the trees along the southern property line, the worse it would be for those trees. But it could be done. It could be done, and they could meet the zoning code requirements with a pool in the rear yard.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Brian? No, thank you.
Thank you.
Those going to give testimony for, please come up, state your name and address. We give everybody equal opportunity to speak.
Okay. My name is Angel Apking, and I am one of the owners of Spiral Pass. The reason for the variance, when we purchased the property, the play set and the trampoline was in that side yard. I am in real estate, so we assumed, I shouldn't assume, but that side yard was our backyard. If we were to put it in the backyard, it'd be more of like a lap pool, a long, thin area from the edge of our property over. But this is a big grass area, our side yard, and we have vegetation all the way around, so you barely see our neighbors. I really didn't want to touch any of the landscaping around it because we actually do like that it kind of blocks everybody and gives everybody privacy. So that was our goal with that.
Yeah, Scott Epking, 11814 Power Pass. Yeah, we would be willing to move it, the pool further to the south than it currently sits. But we were just trying to optimize that space, we felt, but.
Yeah. I've got a question. In one of the pictures, it shows a fire hydrant in your backyard. Is that actually for the dogs? I hope.
It is. One of my clients gave me that. He's a firefighter and he is moving and he gave it to us.
It's purely,
It's purely decorative and blocked.
Okay. I was thinking fire hydrant. That would be interesting. That would have answered a lot of questions real quickly.
Yes.
Okay. I did notice that the pool there's a pool in the house like right in front of you, yours?
Yes.
Right?
That is correct.
I haven't seen that since.
11806, correct? That one's right.
I think so.
Yeah, I just remember seeing something there.
And 810, 11810 also has a pool.
810 too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I know on the last page, you can see here.
That's what I was looking for, right?
Right, I tried to submit pictures of every angle that you would see.
Of course, it was the last page, so I didn't look at it. Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Stan? Joe?
In your report, you stated that when you originally bought the house, you had long-term plans of
Yes.
putting a pool there.
Yes,
And you used it as a playground for your children
It
until
was-
they came of age.
it was
until they
already a
went to
playground
college.
when we moved in.
Right,
Yes.
it was playground, so you never thought about checking to see if that plan could,
To be honest with you, no, and the reason so is when you go through our neighborhood, there's other properties that are on corner lots that have play sets and stuff, so I didn't even think about needing a variance.
did they have
For the-
pools on the side of their yard? where they
No.
played?
No,
The
but
pools were in the rear.
yes, they were in the rear, and I think we didn't think about it because of the way we're stacked back there and kind of surrounded by the woods. I didn't even think about a variance needed.
And I think we were thinking that might be categorized as a corner lot rather than a panhandle lot. And so the corner lot, I guess, the rear yard and the side yard, I guess it could be an either or. And the side of our yard presents itself much more as a backyard. Our backyard's, for the most part, unusable, again, without taking down a lot of trees,
Yeah,
which would, again, I don't think our neighbors would be very happy about it.
considering we have 4 kids.
Any other questions?
When did you find out about the, I guess, the rule here in Symmes Township about the pools in the side yard, the pools in the backyard, and
When our contractor went to get the permit, he called me up from the office saying, hey, you need to get a variance because you're a side yard.
Was it 3 months ago?
So July, because we missed the August meeting, or to submit everything for the August meeting. So I want to say it was after our vacation, so in the end of July.
Is your contractor who's going to install it, is he here?
He is not here.
Okay,
He
so,
was asked to be here, but he is not
We
here.
invited him and gave him the
but
particulars.
you're able to answer questions about.
As much as I can, I will, yes.
Okay. Well, I have a question. I was looking at the contract,
Yes,
construction contract, and it says Hayward 30-6143, color logic lights. What are those? Are those in the pool?
that's the
Are they-
lights in the pool, yes.
Those are lights in the pool?
In the pool, yes.
I didn't see, there's going to be a pathway around the pool, as I
That
understand?
is correct, yes.
Are there going to be pathway lights around there?
We hadn't intended for there to be this time.
Yeah,
Okay, but there are going to be pathways, so they're
There's
only
gonna
about
be
maybe 3 feet high, right?
like lights,
Yeah, lights for the path around the pool.
Yes, that kinda
So
go
at
to-
evening, you
yes.
can walk around and not.
yes. And we also have a side light on our house and a camera on the side of the house.
There are no plans for tall pole lights
No.
No.
coming down, so you can do swimming early in
No,
the morning and so forth.
No.
no.
Okay.
We kind of wanted to keep it organic with the setting the way it is now.
I noticed your neighbors do not have any of those
No,
tall
nobody
lights.
does,
I mean,
which is very nice.
Putting it where you would like to have it,
Mm-hmm.
that, those houses at, I would mention, 11, 11, 10, 08, the ones that we mentioned, 806 and 810, that hedge isn't real thick because if you can see their pool from your playground area, okay? I mean, there is a hedge there.
Yeah.
And there are trees there.
Right.
But it's not thick and lush. I mean, this is the
No, I agree.
late summer, it should be really thick. You can look into your neighbor's pool from your sidewalk. I get
Yes,
it.
yes, some
I
parts
get
of it you can, yes. We
Okay.
would like to put green giants through there to thicken it up so we're not seeing each other.
Okay, all right. Have any of your neighbors, I think you said in your report, your neighbors are aware of what your
I've
plans are?
talked to everyone
And no one-
around us and no one is, actually, they're like, when are you putting it in? Can we do a zip line?
And there's no neighbor here?
No,
None
no
of your
neighbor
neighbors are
here.
here to voice their
No,
concerns or opinions?
no, but everybody did call to say they got the letter.
Have you thought about and I think Joel mentioned
Yeah.
a smaller pool, a pool not bigger than a lap size, but
Yeah.
smaller, but enough for the kids to have fun.
Well, we had talked about it, we had talked about pushing it back further. The problem is we'd be closer to our neighbor behind us, because they sit kind of close to us between that tree line, and I don't wanna, honestly, I don't wanna devalue their property by hearing our kids scream and yell, and then we didn't wanna have to take any trees down. We were worried about roots being an issue when we take up, dig the pool. And to be honest with you, with that location, we do have a lot of mature trees, so we have shade too. So we were trying to position it so we're not ruining the trees. I don't want to take out any trees, but at the same time, I want some sun for the pool.
And the further south that pool slides, the less sun it gets.
And the fencing around it, you are regulated by the HOA requirements for fencing, correct?
Yes.
I mean, you're meeting the
Correct.
homeowners association
Yes.
requirements for fencing?
I'm actually on the HOA board, yes.
Okay. And the fencing is, the iron fencing that you're talking about is similar to your neighbors, or is it going to be a full panel, or they're going to be
No, there's
posts?
going to be the
The
gaps,
post.
and we have to have the posts in
Posts
between.
around,
So
that's
we'll
a
actually match our
requirement.
neighbors.
Okay.
I had a couple questions, Carl.
Go ahead. Waiting till everyone else is done.
The contract that you attached,
Yes.
looks like paragraph 2 sort of ends. Is there another page of the contract that you didn't enclose?
I think I gave you everything I have. Yeah. Page 2 was the drawing that he had given us. So this page 1.
That's the one of the pool
With
itself.
the pool itself, correct.
I was just referring to this paragraph number 2, just sort of ends, to use its best efforts to.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
So I was just wondering if there's something else that's missing that would be, useful or important to look at.
This is all I had
No.
in my files,
That's
yes.
fine. Have you made a down payment on this?
We have about two years ago, yes.
How much a down payment have you put
That has
down?
nothing to do with this.
Yeah,
Has nothing for us to talk about.
Okay.
Strike that from the record.
It's, whatever
It is
agreement
what
they
it is.
made, it
Yeah.
is what it is.
it is what it is.
They're here to come across to talk about a
My
variance
mistake.
and not
That's
the
okay.
price of what it costs.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Well, I'm
I-
looking out for a client.
Do your neighbors, well, they're no concern because your neighbors are not the issue here. Sound system, do you plan to install a sound system?
We just
Music and,
We have like a portable speaker that we usually put outside when we listen to music, so I don't think we're gonna do anything
We
hardwired.
weren't, right, we hadn't planned on doing a permanent wired sound system.
With the way everything changes now with Bluetooth, we figured we
Right.
just have the speaker
The
outside.
portable units, and like the portable Sonos units that they have, we have a Sonos system in the house. Portable Sonos units are pretty effective.
Yeah.
I won't ask the question if your neighbors have the same system, have a system. have a
Oh, they
sound
do.
system, But I won't ask that question. So I'll strike that question.
Okay, you strike that, I'll strike my answer then.
Okay, any other questions?
I don't have any.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Is anybody here to speak against? No? Okay, at this time, I'll close testimony and go into deliberation.
I can go first.
Go ahead.
All
Ladies
right,
first.
everybody's so quiet.
No, I can go.
So I have no issues with this. This is one of those weird lots. We've been dealing with these for a lot of years, I guess it feels like now. I guess in our case, it is years. So I don't have any issue with that. It's always been a thing where they have more land in a side yard than they do have a lot of space. Yeah, they could take down trees, but I don't feel like they're doing anything that's out of the ordinary in their neighborhood. Before the next house closest to it, there's that person's pool also. Like, it's gonna go house, pool, pool, house. So I'm comfortable with doing this. And I don't think it's a huge deviation from the zoning that's around them right now, so.
I mean, I'm still newer on the board, so I'm not sure how the board is operated in regards to requests like this. I mean, if the board, routinely feels like this is not a significant, deviation, then it wouldn't be much for me to agree to that as well. I just always, put my lawyer hat on, and when I buy something, I make sure that what I want to do is suitable for what I want to do. That's all I, specifically say. So I would think that maybe some additional due diligence, in the future. I don't know how that gets done for these lots, but suggestion, that's the only thing I would really add very much.
No, your opinion is still warranted.
Yep.
That's why you run this board. It has nothing to do with how long you've been on the board. It's,
You don't want to start deviating from
No.
other,
I agree. I'm just,
comparable decisions or comparable fact patterns.
but each lot stands upon itself.
That's
Look
right.
at it
Each
individually.
case is.
Yeah, right, we look at everything individually with a global sight at what we've done in the past, but still each house, each lot stands on its own, basically its own legs.
I mean,
Is the best way to put it.
think it speaks volumes that the neighbors aren't opposing, that they're the ones who are going to be mostly affected, whether it's trees or not. So I think that's the biggest issue for me. And
I'll go. This is on a flag lot, and flag lots are very difficult. In today's day and age, the builders take the smallest lot and put the biggest house on the lot. And that's what we have here. It's a lot that's considered a flag. You come up the driveway, and then comes the lot, technically, the flag. And the only real space, in my mind, to put the pool, other than a lap pool, is where they're locating it, very close to it. And it's also putting, now, it looks like there's 3 pools there. Their 2 neighbors have pools, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, and now the 3rd pool's right there, so it's like a little pool community. It's not jumping out and saying, here I am is a pool. It's fitting into the environment. And what we have to do is also look at the factors to consider. And that's on, what page is this?
That's-
2nd page?
Yeah.
Can the property in question yield reasonable return or be used in any beneficial way without the variance? Yes, it can, but it's still for their enjoyment as well. And is the variance substantially deviation from the zoning code? No. It's not pushing the pool to a point where it's huge, where it could have 1,000 people at it. It's a residential pool. Would the essential characters of the neighborhood be substantially altered, or would adjoining properties suffer substantial detriment as a result of the variance? Because there are other 2 pools there and putting the 3rd pool in that area, and we have not heard from any of the neighbors, there, in my mind, them not being here is saying they're okay with it without them coming and testifying before us. Will the variance adversely affect the delivery of governmental services such as garbage removal, sewer disposal, or water lines? No. That's why I asked about the hydrant. Did the property owners purchase the property knowingly of the zoning restrictions? That is a big question, especially because she's a Realtor. She should have looked that up possibly, you know, but today I wanted a basketball court, tomorrow I wanted a pool, you know, and I looked up the basketball court, you know, type of thing, and now it's a pool, okay? But knowingly, yeah, probably, she should have, if she was thinking about adding on or doing things, maybe she should have. But it's still not a detriment to the neighborhood or any of the other factors. Can the property owner predicament be feasibly obviated through some other methods, means for the variance? Yeah, if they went into a lap pool. But a lap pool is strictly two people going back, maybe two people going back and forth in a pool. It's not a family type of fun pool which they're trying to put in. Will the spirited intent behind the zoning restrictions be observed and substantially just done by granting the variance? Yes, I think the spirit of the zoning will be taken care of here. And because this house sits behind all the other houses, I don't have a problem with it. They're not putting anything that's away from the norms. I'll leave the floor to you.
Thank you, thank you. I look at it on these meetings and requests, I look at it two sides. First of all, I look at the impact, any adverse conditions on the neighborhood, on the neighbors and people bordering their property up to yours and so forth. And I like you said, Ralph, there's nobody here to represent their opinion about opposing it. Tell you the truth, I found it very, very hard to find the house. Why? There's so much vegetation all around there. I missed your driveway 3 times to go back in there. I mean, it's so lush with vegetation, which is a great barrier for neighbors to be sheltered from this and so forth. So I really think, you know, neighbors aren't here. That's something I consider that there's no adverse conditions with the neighbors. Now, the homeowners, yeah, after finding their house and going in their driveway and seeing the areas where they wanted to, where they have the play area now and where their proposed plan for the pool, yeah, I can see that. I can see there's lush vegetation around it. Again, I can see where they would like to have it there. Their type of pool, even though it's 152 square feet above the 600, you know, for that situation, your total is 752 square feet. You know, I can see their positioning from that. So to end it, I don't have any opposition to it.
Okay.
To this individual one.
Right.
Not that it
Right.
will fit
No,
all
this is no-
situations. No.
This is one individual, one case, and that's why they come before us on an individual basis. Otherwise, they would be changing the zoning codes. Okay, at this point, close deliberation. Anyone, we need a motion.
Yeah. I move to approve BZA case number 2023-04 as written in their contract. Is that what I want to do? I want to cite
As,
their contract since it's a little against the
Oh,
different than the
as
staff
submitted.
report.
that is.
As submitted.
as
Thank you.
submitted.
pool located in the
Would
side
you,
yard.
this is something we probably will talk about in a minute, but do you want to include the standard conditions as well? The timing and the no changes without the approval of the board?
Yes.
Yes, I would do that.
That'd be 6 months?
Yes, would you like to give them 6 months to get their zoning certificate?
Yes, we would.
Yes.
Okay.
Ralph, can we still ask the owners a question, or is that beyond us now? I was just
I
curious.
mean, we're sort of open. We're not supposed to.
Okay,
but-
well, I mean, I want to follow protocol, so.
Yeah, I
what is
mean,
protocol?
we've closed all deliberations and questions. We made a motion already, so it's sort of,
I was curious if they're going to do the pool installation by the end of this year, or are they planning for next spring, and how long it would take, you know,
No,
that's not pertinent to.
I could
what-
tell
They
you-
have a year to finish.
realistically,
Well, I know what neighbors do, but I'm curious about this pool.
it's how long it takes and whatever.
You can tell me after the meeting, if you wish.
I'll make a second.
Okay, we have a
Thank you.
second. Now, this does not prevent them from not meeting any of the typical building codes that they have to
Right.
go through, the fences that have to go around pools and so on, okay? So it's not any of that. Okay, we have a second.
Okay.
Vote?
Ready? Mr. Trick?
Yes.
Mr.
on the
Wolf?
variance.
Yes.
Mr. Deutsch?
Yes.
Ms. Harlow?
Yes.
Go forth and build.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My kids will love it.
I mean, your kids don't love you now?
You're putting in the pool already, come on.
Yeah, you're putting a pool in.
Well, can't you still blame that on
Are they gonna
COVID or
pay
something?
for it? No. You know, having a pool costs you a lot of money. The pool's the cheap part. Okay, we have now any old business,
I don't have any.
any new business?
We do have a case for next month,
Yeah.
so there will be a
We
meeting.
do?
And then the other thing that just wanted to mention, since this come up recently, all the resolutions that you guys pass have standard, like 4 standard conditions. They basically say that you can't build anything that wasn't shown on the plans, you have 6 months to get your permit, you have to meet all the building code requirements. They're just standard conditions. Every resolution has them. So in your motions, when you're wanting to finish your motion, that's what you would say. If you wanted to approve it as submitted, you would say as submitted with the standard conditions.
Okay.
Okay,
And then if anybody has any questions about the standard conditions, they can ask it before you approve it. That way the applicant knows that there are conditions being attached to the resolution, even though you say as submitted and don't enumerate the exact conditions.
Thank you.
You basically have standard covenants or standard conditions that are included in every resolution, and that just, you would be saying it so everybody would be clear and they would know.
Thank you.
Also, right now, the standard is 30 days. You give people 30 days to get their zoning certificate, which is a very short time frame. The zoning resolution actually in a different place says 6 months. So,
well, we're giving them 6 months.
for this one, correct, but
Okay.
if you want to change the standard, if that's okay, we're suggesting that we're going to start changing that standard to 6 months rather than 30 days, unless the board objects to that.
No,
Okay.
I don't object to that because.
So currently
Very
it's
good.
30 days?
Yeah, it has been 30 days probably for 30 years.
Yeah,
6
Probably
months.
wasn't
we-
a problem until the past few
Well,
years.
Well, we constantly, because people, it takes a couple weeks for the resolution to get completed, and then people come back, and it's 31 days after their permit, and they've moved along steadily, and they still can't meet it, and so we're supposed to bring those back to the board, and you have to do an administrative action to give them an extra 30 days, or 6 months, or whatever else you want at that point in time.
So do you need us to do anything on our end for the zoning resolution to move that from 30 to?
No, because you just
So
added
that
it
is
specifically,
180?
and then,
Okay.
as part of new business at today's meeting, we discussed it, and there was no objection from the board. We're gonna change
Change it on all.
on all the resolutions going forward to 6
I
months.
don't have a problem with that at all.
Perfect.
But I do have a question. After the 6 months, the variance goes away if they don't get up
Right, unless they come back and ask for an extension, because you
Right.
as a board can extend that time frame.
Hence,
But they would have to do that. But if it expires, yeah, if they don't get it in 6 months, then it expires. Technically, that's what happens at the end of 30 days, which is a really short time frame.
right, so it's hence like
Okay. It's
the
good to
one
remember. It's good to know.
group of people that come to our board keep on asking us to make changes, or they're doing this and that, and they decide not to do it.
Right, but
I'm not
it's
naming
really,
names.
it comes up more often with churches and schools, things that have, like they want to get approval and then they do the fundraising. The fundraising goes slower than they thought it was going to. And by the time they get it ready and they come in to get finish their permit, it's past the time frame.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I didn't name names.
I didn't either.
Okay.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Administrative matters.
You have to approve the minutes from the July 3rd.
There's only 2 people here that I think that
Yeah, we
were
don't have
at
a
that meeting. I
quorum.
don't think we have enough.
We don't have a-
I wasn't here.
Jill
I
wasn't
believe
Yeah,
Mr.
you're
Tripp
right.
wasn't here.
Gary
Right.
was here.
Okay.
Gary.
So that we can't approve. Okay.
Until the next meeting.
I move we adjourn, since there's no more
Business.
business to do.
I second.
Missy.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 26.
So
Okay, we're
just so
done.
that you guys.